let's flip a coin. Head Carolina, tails California.
Okay, it's the Ask Andy show. I'm having a lot of trouble lately with the wind and clouds, and it's really been windy here. This is a temporada de viento, and it's the season of wind for July and August, so it's really windy here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. I've been traveling nonstop for 16 years and went to 90 countries. Hopefully another 10 here in the fall, going to Europe. Okay, Jonathan. I watch you on YouTube. The video I liked most was about the American materialistic rat race. The question I had was places you travel to. Are other countries as materialistic as America? One thing going on in my life is that I have never owned a credit card, and I don't plan on getting one. I'm 34 years old. I highly commend you. Not getting a credit card, not buying into the idea of debt. The biggest problem with the materialistic world is not the buying a thing, it's the idea that you're buying debt, and when you buy debt you basically are stuck in one place, and you really have trouble doing anything, and you basically owe your soul to the company store. That was an old song in the 1940s or 50s about working in the mines, because in the mine what they would do is they'd have a company store that would sell things so high that they'd offer credit. You see bars do this too. There's bars that offer credit, and you just keep getting yourself in a bigger and bigger debt, but they guarantee the guy keeps coming back, right? But the company store did the same thing in the mines. But the American materialistic rat race. Are other countries? Yes, they are. Everybody, but I'm not going to call it the rat race in a sense. America has a special problem because we have this Protestant work ethic, and it's couple that with the idea of accumulating things. Basically, they have to be working or they're not okay, and that is what makes it the rat race. Is that you're not. If you're sitting around in America and you're not working, you're basically considered a bum, and it can really be insulting. Which keeps our population working, which is, in Europe, they're always on the dole, they call it, I guess, or they like to get on the, unemployment and things like that. And people have been that on years. And, there's countries like Sweden where people just go to on purpose so that they can get, the free money. There seems to be a problem on the Social Security disability in America. That's a thing people like to get on it, and then I see a lot of them. I would suspect that 5% of the people here in Vilcabamba are on Social Security disability. Okay, because and then they go to a place where they can live cheap. It's not to say that you shouldn't be on disability if you're getting thing, but the rat race comes from paying attention to the guy next to you, the rat next to you, right? So that's the rat race. Are the other countries on the planet like that? Yes, they are. Everybody on the planet is searching for social status, and we're also hoarders. I think it's Darwinian, really, because what happens is that we have to hoard, and we have to prove that we'd be genetically a good prospect for our wives. So we want to accumulate things to prove that we can support the wife. And the wife, but so basically it gets into a habit form where we never feel safe unless we have a lot of things to protect us, to prove that we're an able provider. Okay, so is that the same in every other country? Yes, they're always trying to one-up the guy next to them. That's just absolutely common on every. But the sad part is, and it's kind of sad because they're really buying in now to the motorcycle, cell phone. I mean, you see families here with smartphones that probably cost $200, and the guy don't earn $200 in a month, right? And and then the cost to pay for the time and stuff, I call it like a tax. The cell phones are becoming like a tax, and they basically suck the cash right out of the country. Here in Ecuador, they actually use the cell phone almost like a Social Security number. It's an identification number. So you might apply for something and they want your cell phone number so they can connect it. Because when you apply for a cell phone thing, you do it with Claro or Movie Star, and then they connect it up to a database, and you're basically on file with them, and they're collecting all the people on the thing. Is it as prevalent? I mean, there's places where it's really high, like in Thailand or Philippines or Southeast Asia. It's really high, even though they're maybe not that rich. Central and South America is buying into it hook, line, and sinker. But then you have subcultures that don't, which is like the Quechua in Central America, South America, where I'm at right now, don't really get into the materialistic end. It's quite as heavy. But in Africa, it's a lot less because everybody's at a same level of, you know, we have maybe a big middle class. They have a very small low class and a very big high, very low, you know, very small high class and a very, very big low class. And so, you know, in a way, in America, the middle class rat race is the idea we're told in college that we're going to somehow, I don't know, we're going to somehow make it, right? Which everybody makes it. Come on, everybody makes it. You should avoid work as much as possible, guys. Everybody has a life, everybody has food, and everybody has a house, and everybody do it. But what everybody doesn't have is free time. I pride myself in being rich in free time and not ever saying to anybody that I'm busy. And I'm not busy, okay? But I do a lot of things in a day, but I'm very organized too. I do pride myself that I'm very organized. Okay, but are you going to see it? One of the nice things is that if you do travel, you won't be competing with the locals. Therefore, it's kind of interesting. You're out of the rat race because it's not. You don't see it. You're not really involved in it, and you're not really. You don't feel the social pressure of the local population. Now, you will for sure if you're in a community like this. Like Vilcabamba is probably the biggest Americanized colony I've ever seen on anywhere on the planet. I mean, it's not the biggest, but I mean it's the most prevalent. I mean, you can actually see 50% of the time you can see gringos, and 50% of the time you see in the locals. That's such a high density that you're basically in America, but outside the United States in a way. And they do create a social pressure. But the funny part is, if I really wanted to grow in social status here, I need to get a mohawk or dreads or tattoos all over my face or a big earring or something wild, because I gotta look like a peacock to attract attention, because we got some payasos. okay, but you're not going to feel it. That's probably what you're gonna. That's probably the bottom line. What you're trying to ask. You're not going to feel it, and it's really easy to avoid the rat race outside the United States. Are the locals involved in it? Yeah, they're involved in it, but you know, it's the same in America. The locals are able to ignore everybody around them. In America, there's people that just ignore the people that's one-upping them. You know, when you get around a person and they're always dropping things like one-upping you, where they're trying to say, well, I got this car, I got this stuff. You know, really, not a very good friend. But they should be championing your ideas and champion your what you do in life and what you accomplish in life. But really, buying a car is no big deal. You just get credit, right? That's not an accomplishment. Or buying a house, not an accomplishment. It's just something everybody does. Thank you. Good question. Oh, that was Jonathan. Jonathan asked that question. If I can find the button here.
We can pack up tomorrow. Tonight, let's